it, I feel fine. That's great, it starts with an earthquake, birds, snakes, and aeroplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I have a hurricane, listen to yourself, turn worlds with its own means. Dummy, save your own needs, speed it up and not speed, got no street. The ladder starts to clatter with the fear of fight down. High fire in a fire, represent the southern gangs and the government for hire in a combat site. Lester wasn't coming in a hurry with the furies breathing down your neck. Team reporters grab the Trump, get the ground, look at that low plane. Fine, then overflow, population corner, blue, but it'll do. Save yourself and save yourself a world, save your own need, listen to your heartbeat. Tell me that the reds are in the reverend with the right. You patriotic, slam fight right. I'm feeling pretty psyched. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. Oh, 6 o'clock TV hour, look at gotten foreign tower, session Marie, turn, listen to yourself, journal, look, I'm in the uniform, my book, burning, but I mean every motive escalating, not a moment, incinerate, not a motive, not a kettle, step down, watch your heel, crush, up, all this means no fear, cavalier, renegade, steer, clear, tournament of lies, you offer me solutions, but not from the alternatives, and I decline. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. The other night I took the fine, got her nail, took the fine, Mount St. Analyzed Leonard, Bernstein, Leonard, Brezhnev, Lenny, Bruce, and Mr. Becky, birthday party, cheesecake, the jelly bean boom. Patriotic, slam foot, next set right. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. Oh, it's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
Hello, Doomers. Good evening. This is music for the end of the world. I'm Chris, as always, and I'm joined tonight back in the saddle by Cass.
Good evening, Chris, and good evening, everyone.
Evening, Cass. And we have another guest who says she's going to remain silent. We will see. I've never heard her be silent for more than 10 minutes, but we will see if she is. But she has brought in some excellent music, and that is Kirste. And we've got some excellent songs that I haven't heard before. Have you heard many of these songs, Cass?
No, there are actually quite a few new ones, and they're very interesting.
Oh, and I see that, Cass, you've got a whole bunch of chocolates tonight. So we have chocolates when Kirste comes along. That's very nice. We normally don't have chocolates here in the studio. Oh, it's a special guest then. Okay, Doomers, tonight, what have we got? Well, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. What are we going to be talking about? I thought I've been reading a few of George Zachariades' blogs, and we're going to be talking, and I'll be reading a little bit from some of them, mainly to do with our neoliberal capitalist system, world ideology, and the billionaires that profit from it. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, how that is exacerbating our predicament. A couple of George's blogs. One is replacement economics, the scam that saved capitalism, and that, of course, that's going to be going into greenwashing and all that stuff. And this is the one that I like. He's titled "Don't Eat the Rich, Abolish Them for Good." So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And I do have another article from the Independent newspaper over in the UK, which says, "Apocalypse now? Why tech billionaires are suddenly hoarding doomsday mega bunkers." And we know they are. We've spoken about this before on the show. Mainly New Zealand, Alaska. I think that Zuckerberg's got one big one in Hawaii. I think there's maybe a couple down in Tasmania, here in Australia. why they're doing that. And when this article in The Independent talks to Douglas Rushkoff, who is a bit of a collapsologist, climate expert, and asking him for his advice. Well, the ultra-rich are asking him for his advice, and he's done an interview with The Independent. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And as far as music goes, very exciting. Got some I haven't heard many of them, but I'm sure if Kirste has chosen them, they will be worth listening to. Okay, so that's what is on for tonight, Doomsters. So why don't we start off, Cass, with a song?
That sounds like
Unless you have
good
something
idea.
special to say.
No.
Right off the top, anything?
Which one were you thinking of starting with?
Well, that's what I was going to ask
Because
Kirsty.
I was going to say...
She could use sign language maybe to tell us what song she might like.
Well, I thought if you start with...
Oh, yes.
The Lonnie Bradley Holly.
Lonnie Holly.
Yeah, because
a change is going to come.
Yeah, because he's... So I just
Okay.
want to say something about him before you start. Because
who is Lonnie Holly?
So he's a very, very interesting person. So he was born in 1950 in Alabama. Mm-hmm. And he just
American?
seems to have come American. So comes from, obviously, African American.
Yeah.
Comes from a really, it's just his background, even if you just read in the Wikipedia, is his basis. So he was the 7th of 27 children.
How many?
27. So he's the 7th of 27 children.
Not from the same mother, surely.
Well, it doesn't give it a thing, but his thing. So from the age of 5, he worked various jobs, picking up trash at drive-in theatres, washing dishes. He lived in a whiskey house. Early life was chaotic. He'd never really had obviously
27 kids.
A normal childhood. He was born the 7th of 27 children, and Holly claims to have been traded for a bottle of whiskey when he was 4.
Well, if I had 27 kids, that's right. I mean, geez, what are you going to do?
So he began his career, spent time digging graves, picking cotton. He claims to have been pronounced brain dead after being hit by a car. He became a father at 15 and now has 15 of his own children. He's worked in various other things, and I think he started as a carver, doing as a sculptor, doing sandstone. Did these amazing sculptures, and he was discovered, and then he discovered music, and so this is him, 75. Really interesting.
75.
He's 75.
Okay.
All right.
So after all his kids and everything, he's finally turned to music.
But anyway, definitely look him up and know more about him. And really very cool film clips. And
the song is called A Change Is Going to Come, which of course we know, Cass, a change is going to come. Unfortunately, most people don't realise the change that's coming because they're all ostriches. But we know that the change is coming, Doomsters.
Lonnie knows.
For some people, it's already come. But it will come for us too. Okay, so here we go. Lonnie Holly with A Change Is Going to Come.
But are we ready? Are we prepared? Are we ready for something to change? Something to happen. Whoa, yeah. Wind blowing against my skin. Wind blowing, feeling the breeze. are we ready? Are we ready for the changing? Are we ready?
The earth is full of everything. What can we do but help each other,
Are we ready?
help humanity? Nothing but us to love and help each
Are
other.
we ready?
How can I love God without loving you?
Oh, you must get your comes into our window, comes through our door. The wind blowing so beautifully. Have you an idea? Do you know? Like the wind. Do you know how to touch everything and be kind about it? To be strong, to be strong, to keep all alive. A change is gonna come.
Lonnie Holly with The Change Is Gonna Come. Yeah, terrific. 75.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, great. I like it, like his voice.
Yeah.
And I've just seen the film clip for that one. Really great film clip. Definitely worth checking out.
All right. Okay, Doomsters. Back on to our topic of the rich bastards and our capitalist exploitative system that we're living here under. And really, we should just, before we continue, just a brief mention of the horror shit show that Israel is perpetrating on the world right now. Every day it's getting worse. You know, bombing a flotilla of ships of world citizens, bombing countries willy-nilly. Doesn't matter what country it is, they'll bomb you. And the rest of us just all go, yes, it's terrible, terrible, wring our hands. But nothing's done. There's no embargoes on Israel. There's nothing like that. So, yeah, what a disgrace. I can't talk about it, really. It's just too depressing. Which is part of our neoliberal capitalist system, really. That's what it is. The techno-military-industrial system. And back to George's blog, which is Replacement Economics, the scam that saved capitalism. And the scam I'm going to be talking about, Cass, I think you might know what it is. Shaking her head?
No.
Oh. Well, if there was ever a chance of keeping this planet habitable, it wouldn't be through renewables, babe. Even though that's what everyone's talking about. Of course, it'll be through tackling the worst type of carbon emissions there is, which is economic growth. That's what it is. The only thing renewables have managed to renew is capitalism itself. They've just changed it.
Well,
It's
that's
just
true.
Business as usual under a different title. And it triggers growth in everywhere, in every carbon-intensive industry under the sun. while failing absolutely to keep up with energy demand, because the more green
I know, but that's almost
energy we have, our fossil fuel use has increased every year
that's
since.
right. And that's part of the problem, isn't it? Is the fact that, you know, the term green, which has changed from what it used to be, like being as a derogatory term of being a greenie, to now green being something which is sustainable, good for the planet, good for
Bullshit,
us,
that's right.
is the fact now that everything is being labelled green, and people and people.
Well, it makes you feel better.
But they're
So,
intentional.
hey, I feel better about
But
it.
it's not even just people feeling better. It's the thing that people have got the right intention, and that they think they're
Do
doing
they?
something.
Do they?
Well, I think some people do. I think the people's move to try and, you know, use green energy is comes from a good place, because I think they feel like you need to do something. I just think that they're perhaps misinformed, because as we know,
Oh, definitely
for all of the
misinformed.
materials that you
Intentionally.
need for all of your green energy that you're going to be using, you are still ripping up the earth. You're
Because I
still
mean,
needing to take
if
materials.
if green energy was to be deployed at the scale required to power 8 point something billion humans, right? Energy greedy humans. If we were to change everything over to green energy, you know, all our AI data centers, everything, renewables would decimate whatever is left of our environment,
energy,
of our
the environment. Yeah, exactly.
biosphere,
Yep.
of our climate.
But I think that is not talked about, and that's not publicised. And I think, as I said,
Much quicker than if we just kept on using fossil
using
fuels.
fossil fuels. But that's right, because everyone has now come around, and not everyone, but there certainly is a growing number of people who are against fossil fuels, but who have been sold.
But buy an
the story.
electric car, babe.
I know, but that's what's been that's what's been
Yeah, I know.
promoted, and people are told
I know.
that you are doing something positive, and that you're reducing emissions, and you're doing this and that. So again, it sort of comes down again to the capitalist system, and it comes back down to marketing and consumerism and misinformation.
Yes, you are correct. Because scaling up the renewables can only aggravate our existential dread. And I like how George has got this analogy, much in the same way that adding more lanes to a highway worsens traffic congestion in the long term. So rather than questioning the number of cars on the road or the underlying social reasons why they're there, we blame the road for not being wide enough. And we know, from our experience here in Australia, I'm sure it's the same everywhere in the world, that yes, they build another lane, a new expressway, and then pretty soon after, you get traffic jams again. In a civilization seized by technophilia, George says, new technologies always become the go-to solution, used to replace existing problems with even bigger future ones. Because the reason we got here is because of technology, and technology is not going to get us out. It's like that, isn't there some saying, Cass, where the symptom of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. Yeah. But George goes on to say that failure is the wrong word, as we were talking about, to describe this fiasco of the so-called energy transition, right? Because he's saying renewable energies didn't fail. They were intentionally misrepresented, missold, mislaunched, and misused right from the beginning by the people who only cared about shifting their units, you know, the bottom line. Sustainability mobsters ruined the very last chance we had to avoid extinction. But at least the shareholders got rich. You know, thanks, Elon. The problem with capitalism, George goes on to say, is that it monetises solutions to the extent that these solutions eventually become the problems. And it's really very true, especially true for technological innovations, that it always advertises solutions as brilliant, as helping us so much. But they're ultimately sold as products. But a product is not the solution to our predicament, is it, Cass? It's merely the monetisation of a promise. As with every productised technology, renewables were products that were missold as solutions. They were marketed based on aspiration instead of substance, and promises instead of deliverables. Much like whitening toothpaste. Doesn't exist, man. They became another branded industrial consumer product, endorsed, rubber-stamped and mass-manufactured, and then sold hastily in as large a number as possible before us, the customers, could wake up and find out the truth and realise the scam. No surprises there, though, Doomsters. That's how capitalism works, right? Once the sale of the solution goes through, capitalism doesn't care whether the solution actually delivers on its original promise. The money's already in the bank. Economic growth, baby. Yeah. I reckon George has got a point, Cass. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think, you've seen that whole capitalism and consumerism across multiple things from, labelling of things as organic and natural and then realising it's all just marketing.
Because it's like, it's this industry of, like you said, misinformation, Cass, that rushed in to cater to a desperate need for some sort of delusion about our predicament. There must be a way that we can continue to grow and destroy and emit things, but still avoid collapse and extinction. I know, let's call it energy transition. That'll make everyone feel better, that it's actually, we're actually doing something about it. The investing, the mining, the manufacturing, the building orgy of the energy transition. Yeah, it was the capitalism-friendly alternative to degrowth that this planet desperately needed. Global energy demand was allowed to escalate out of control. And as a scam, green investors got in on the game. By investing in renewables, we invested in a sizzling hot extinction future. And most people don't know that though, Cass. That's the thing. Most people don't know.
No, because
they think they're doing, like you say, they feel good about buying an electric car or getting some solar power, Well,
it's all about information and just the massive misinformation, whether it be in regards to collapse, whether it be in regards to political or geopolitical situations, is that we have no truth out there.
No,
because media is run by millionaires.
Yeah. George goes on to say that the term that he uses to describe this approach, followed by the energy transition, is replacement economics. So it's the profitable practice of pretending to solve issues by replacing the technology rather than addressing the issue, which is we're using too much bloody energy. Replacement economics defers issues into the future by using new technologies that eventually unravel and compound the problems that they were meant to solve. We've done this many times in our history, George goes on to say, and in fact we're doing it right now in almost every sector, from healthcare to food, energy to transportation, education to communication. Replacement economics is about replacing entire economic sectors with new ones. But they're not changing the underlying fundamental problem, which is too much energy, using too much energy. The renewable revolution was never about renewables. It was a cosmetic rebrand, people. A cosmetic rebrand exercise that replaced the terrible, evil fossil fuel industry with a greenwash face and brand new gadgets, but keeping the same old tricks in place. Economic growth, greedy billionaires, corporate corrupt lobbyists, and the green PR misinformation machine. This renewable industrial complex arrived just in time to replace all those disappearing fossil fuel jobs and give fossil fuel lobbyists and PR professionals a new scam to latch onto. It's just a public image transition, really, Cass, from a carbon-intensive industry based on fossil fuel to a carbon-intensive industry based on renewable tech. Yeah. I reckon George is spot on, Doomsters. And yes, it is now time, that time of the evening, Doomsters, where we need to be listening to a few of our lovely sponsors who, without, as I always say, we would not be able to function.
Are you looking for a quality new or used car? You can't go past the South Coast's premium motor dealers, Rondoyle Motors and Eden Mazda, at 113 Princes Highway, Eden. They are dealers for Mazda, Isuzu and Nissan, as well as having a great range of quality used cars and full workshop and parts facilities. Rondoyle Motors and Eden Mazda are well known for their outstanding customer service and excellent workshop. Give them a call on 64961 420 or check out the website at rondoylemotors.com.au. Rondoyle Motors and Eden Mazda are sponsors of 93.7 Edge FM.
Tathra Tyres and Auto have been servicing motor vehicles in Tathra since 1993. Ron, Paddy and Matt are proud supporters of Bega's community radio station, 93.7 Edge FM.
Thank you, dear sponsors. Okay, time for another song, Cass. And Kirsty, she's over there in the corner, peeps, with her mouth taped shut. Hello to all the old gang up in Lismore. She is here. I'm not lying. All right, what song are we going to have next? Oh, well, we could have Habib Bulk, we could have Dobby, Laurie Anderson, I love Laurie, Pete Townsend, Nakane Moonchild. Oh, all right. We're going to have Tell Me Your Politic, and that is by Nakane. Is that the whole name, or is that Nakane? Moonchild's someone else? Just Nakane.
Well, it's Nakane Lubabablo Mabuso.
Where do you know where they're from? Apparently,
South African.
South
African singer,
South African.
songwriter, actor, and novelist.
I love South African music.
Binary, black, been very involved.
Ah, okay.
Championed by Elton John and Madonna.
Oh. Okay, peeps. So here we go with Tell Me a Politic by Nakane. Oh, nice. Tell Me Your Politic by Nakane. That was a nice case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great music. Great
Yeah.
voice.
Excellent voice. Right, getting back to George's replacement economic theory. He goes on to tell us a few other instances of it. It's not just green energy, of course, replacing fossil fuels. It's our food industry replaced fats with industrially made carbohydrates in order to market them as low-fat products. And, of course, these high-processed carbohydrates became even more addictive than fats, resulting in skyrocketing obesity. So, in that instance, the food industry had chosen to replace one ingredient with another, rather than tackle obesity itself, which is about how many calories people eat, how often and where they get those calories from. That's another example of the replacement economics.
Well, it's also very symptomatic of the whole thing of treating symptoms rather than the cause. So you look at people look at there's this
And because
problem,
it's also about
problem.
making money, because
and in between, exactly.
it's
And then
about making money.
The motivation
That's
is how can you also make even
right.
more money?
That's right. That's right. If the food industry had any genuine intention, George says, to help society lose weight, it would have made natural foods. But this would have hurt the entire economy. Consumers would purchase less, as natural foods aren't as addictive. Health insurers would make less money, as diabetes, heart disease and obesity would significantly decline. And gyms would lead customers as people to be much fitter. And psychologists would probably see far fewer patients because of depression, etc. So, it's this necro-capitalist economy which thrives on making us thick. Another example that George mentions is transportation policies. Like I mentioned before, to address the increasing number of vehicles on the road, the governments across the world have historically chosen to expand their road system, their infrastructure, rather than provide incentives for people to travel less, own fewer cars, increase their use of public transportation, restructure cities, a whole bunch of different things they could do. No, let's build another road.
Yeah, which is also very expensive. You look at the cost of infrastructure is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's not even a cost. It's a not cost benefit.
That's right. I mean, electric vehicles have addressed neither traffic congestion nor the climate crisis. Brand new electric vehicles enter the market already burdened by the immense carbon footprint of their production. Right? They need a whole bunch of mining and processing and manufacturing to get there, which uses inordinate amounts of energy. And given that they run on electricity, the production of which comes with its huge carbon and environmental footprint, it's doubtful how much, if any, of their accumulated emissions they manage to offset during their brief lifetime on the road. Because once they're dead, the batteries become an environmental disaster. What are you going to do with them? There's still no effective, ecologically viable and sustainable way of recycling batteries. A tiny detail which the green car manufacturers forgot to tell us when they were prompting us to save the planet by buying an electric vehicle. It's a scam, like George says. It's a scam. Yeah. All these clean industries which the Green New Deal investors have fabricated just do not exist. All technologies, however clean and sustainable they claim to be, have a voracious appetite for energy and resources. No industry, however new or innovative, efficient and clean, can grow without a significant input of raw materials and a destructive output on society and the planet. So it would be very foolish to think that any new technology or innovation could save us, given that each successive technological evolution has left its own indelible scars on society and the planet. Technologies might change, George says, but greed never does. Just look at AI now. Wasn't it? We were talking about AI before, Cass, and the data centers needed, right? Just like if you're using AI and you ask them a question, right? The amount of energy just for one question is ridiculous. And I think now data centers, AI, consume, I think they're 11th. Like if you line up all the countries, how much energy they consume, data centers are 11th. More than Australia? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, you know what offends me about that is the fact that I at the moment have consciously chosen not to use AI. I mean, I'm
don't
obviously
know anything about
interested in understanding it, but it's not even that, because every time if you use a phone, and of course we all do use phones, every time you use your phone and every time you put in a search, that you get an AI response that trawls to and does a summary of the information. So the whole thing is that you're using AI, even if you're consciously saying, okay, I'm not going to use AI, you are using AI every time you touch technology now. And so that means, exactly as you're saying, is that you're drawing on all of those all of the impacts that AI has, even if you're thinking that you're not using it. So as soon as you use your phone, yes, you can disregard it, but the thing is that's propagated. That's produced when you're doing it. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And that's just the energy, sucking up the energy that AI uses. Forget all the other issues with AI.
Well, that's right. There's another whole
As Daniel
bag to get into.
Schmachtenberger has said many times, it is a very worrying development.
All right.
But that's the whole thing. What Daniel was talking about too was saying, very interesting, was that yes, all these tech bros know that, right? All these guys, they all know. All these billionaires, they all know that, but they realise that the person first to get, I forget what that AI is called. It's called like the highest form of AI, where it doesn't need an input. Like, I forget what it's called. It's that's the holy grail, and that's what everyone's racing towards. And everyone knows that that's going to completely decimate us, but they don't care, because as long as you're the first person to get it, then you get all the kudos and you get all the money.
And you get all the,
but I mean, and that's the race for it, for all these tech bros, all these billionaires. That's why they're building all these bunkers, because they know what's happening. And we might get onto that very soon. But first, I'm getting a wind up from Cass. We need another song.
And we're going with Dobby.
Dobby. All
Yep,
right.
and I'll tell you a little bit about Dobby.
Now, obviously, he's not from
before you
Harry
play.
Potter.
No,
No, that's the only Dobby I know.
So Dobby is a Filipino Aboriginal Australian musician.
Okay.
It describes himself as a drapper, which is a rapper and a drummer. And this song's actually really beautiful. I first time I heard it was today, but it's
Does that
quite
mean a
unique.
guitarist and a rapper would be a grapper?
It could be.
Oh.
So this song uses the call of the pied butcherbird, and the title of the song translates as "The Bird Names Himself." This song is part of the story about water rights and the health of rivers, particularly in the Bawarana region.
Oh, okay. Because I can see that the title of the song is Derpy Yuan Patulinia. And I just wondered if that's the Yuan people. Is that got something to do with the Yuan people? Because they're
well,
down here too.
Singing about, I suppose, Bawarana area, which is
That's up Sydney.
which is up further north. But
Yeah.
so the song
Okay.
that
Have to look
title,
into that.
which I'm sure that you mispronounced, but
Yes, of course I did.
that translates as
I
"The
got Ewan
bird
right, though.
names himself."
Oh, okay. Well, here we go, peeps.
Here's Dobby.
Here's Dobby.
Dippy, you and Pachulinya, singing his name throughout the riverina. Kaya Lanato, Yonku, Yunato, Paku. I think Bayami telling us he can see ya. Dippy, you and Pachulinya. Home to the Nuno, the continuing dream. I am Bawel, Wanya, Wala, Rada, Camilla, Roy, Mudawari, Bakanji, Wakamara, the Barabinya. Dippy, you and Pachulinya, singing his name throughout the riverina. I see the Kookaburra and Malayan, dinner wine. I know the dinner wine, a spiritual creature. Dippy, you and Pachulinya. I see the Munda gotta come out the river, and they callin' wild way at the bar when I watch them transform like the butterfly and the caterpillar. I got no confidence in our current leader. I'm sick of suffering, smirk, smothering emphysema. Towering flames, howling chirp. The entire East Coast from Cairns all the way down to Bega. Listen to a different thinker, cause somebody trying to give you the bigger picture. And take what I learned to understand that the lessons in the rivers in the land, our spirit teacher.
Ah, lovely.
How beautiful was that?
Beautiful. Beautiful, Cass. Very nice. That was Dobby with Europe, Ewan Batulinia, but I've probably said it wrong. Anyway, look him up. Australian, or part Australian anyway. Okay, it is 7:42 here at 93.7 Edge FM, Doomsters. You're listening to Music for the End of the World. And we are talking about our capitalist exploitative system that we're living in. And we're just about to have a little look at some of the billionaires or the super rich in our country. But before we do that, in our world, I should say, it is time for some more lovely sponsors' messages. And we've got Fair Dinkum Builds and also a short message from Are You OK? Because tomorrow, I think, is a special day for Are You OK? Is that right, Cass?
That is correct.
Yes. So here is a message from one of our sponsors, and Are You OK?
You might be familiar with Coastal Country Sheds and Garages, but now you'll notice the name has changed to Fair Dinkum Builds Bega Valley. A little change that goes a long way for our customers. We'll always be your local experts when it comes to building commercial premises with flexible builds, quality material and great service. And we're stepping things up even further. For you, for keeps. Search Fair Dinkum Builds today or drop by and see us at 3 West Street, North Bega.
Fair Dinkum Builds Bega Valley is the long-time sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM.
On a game day, work day, rainy day, you can ask, are you okay, any day, because life happens every day. A conversation could change your life. Learn how to ask at areyouok.org.au.
Okay, that was a message from Are You OK, which is happening tomorrow, I think, the National Are You OK Day. All right, you're listening to Music for the End of the World here on 93.7 Edge FM. And we are going to be talking about the billionaires. But before we do, it's that time of the night. We always play one of these songs. Who are they, Cass?
I wonder if they could possibly be Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
You betcha. It's the Gimmies. And this one is the song On My Mind, which... Is that a Willie Nelson one? I know he's done a cover of it. I don't know if he did the original, though.
Friday on My Mind? Or
Yeah, On My Mind. Anyway, here we go, peeps, with the Gimmies. On My Mind.
How does it start? I have no idea how the song goes. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Help me, give me one more chance to keep you satisfied, satisfied. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Yeah! That was great, you guys.
That was Willie Nelson, right?
I'm guessing that's not.
Yeah, that was Willie Nelson.
Let's hear it for the song that's
Or Big Elvis.
no way making our record.
Huh?
Way too slow.
That song is no way making the record.
No, that's not making the record, folks. So
See, the only people that will ever hear
save
that
your
song-
applause for.
In the middle we stopped, and it was too slow.
And then that's their problem.
And that was the Gimmies live with Always on My Mind. And that only goes for 1 minute 60. That's what I love about the Gimmies. It's like taking a chocolate, short and sweet. It's nice. Okay, back to George's blogs. This one is entitled Don't Eat the Rich. Abolish them for good. As we know, the world is being turned into a dystopia of extreme inequality by those determined to blackmail 8 billion humans into destitution. This collusion between the power and the wealth has new precision tools, an upgraded game plan and a new vision for an oppressive society none of us will be able to opt out of. So far, they've abducted our attention, bred in circuses, and sunk us into sedation. They plan to redistrict every aspect of our existence and sell it for parts so they can watch it collapse into a slum and then charge you for every single toxic breath that you take. And it's all to do with profit. I mean, the bottom line is, Cass, inequality is accelerating globally.
Absolutely.
As the climate crisis worsens and decimates resources. And while the rich rob us of our income and assets and personal data and mental health and dignity, we are undergoing a transition from a society to an AI-operated supermarket where humans are the products. And AIs decide how they will be branded, what they'll be worth, and how long they've got to stay on the shelf. The survival of this supermarket has become more important than the survival of humanity. And in this profit-dictated version of society, the only difference between consumers and consumables is temporal. All consumers eventually become consumables that are branded, sold, used, terminated. Your smartphone is their little, what do you call it when they do? You know, what is it called when they do rebranding and stuff and they get a group of people and they test?
Market research.
Yeah. That's where their phones are. They track you. They have all your information. Yeah. It's pretty bad. And this demolition operations are moving so fast, we've got to try and get out of the way. The corrupt tyrants and AI oligarchs are bulldozing their way through society as we speak, concentrating wealth at the expense of the people they've already been robbing for decades. And they're endorsed by psychopaths and sociopaths and grown-up brats recruited from the negative outlier end of the IQ continuum. Meanwhile, the Gen Z enters adulthood with a why even bother sort of raison d'etre, riddled with debt and blocked from entry-level jobs by AI, all the while as they face down the barrel of a world of looming climate apocalypse. Not too cheery. And people are wondering why we have such huge mental health issues. Yeah. And if they do manage to find work, they need to prepare themselves to settle for a life of no savings, no home ownership, at least here in Australia, and employment terms so abysmal that they will forever redefine the meaning of the word employment. Yeah. I'd rather bring down this dictatorship than work for the rich people to make them richer. But, as George says, if we were to eat the rich, one thing is certain. More of them would spring up overnight. The reason why the world's ruled by psychopaths and sociopaths is that they arise spontaneously, like proto-life forms, out of the primordial cesspool that we call the capitalist free market. They are the apex predators of most value to our supermarket version of society. You know, I forget the percentage of sociopaths in society, but it's
growing.
No, it's I don't know what let's say 10%. I don't know. I'm making it up, but it's a right on the low end. But when you look at sociopaths in positions of power, e.g., CEOs, it goes way high. Like it's over 50%, 60 or something. Why is that?
Obviously, that's the kind of characteristic you need
exactly
to be successful in that business.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And meanwhile, the rest of us are supposed to maintain our sanity as we watch these sociopaths commit genocide just to pocket a few extra $1 billion. Mental health's become a tightrope made from top-strength cognitive dissonance, propped up on either end by the towering ghost algorithms of the unreality. Yeah. It's so the problem's not the rich, Cass. It's the system that produces them. Inequality is not born out of evil, but out of its result, accumulation. The only way to end inequality is to simply outlaw it. And it'll only happen if those of us at the lowest ranks of the inequality pyramid become warriors for justice rather than wishful billionaires. That's what I never understand why people,
because people
defend billionaires. And part of it is, I think,
yeah, well, I think it's because it's the same thing that was sold on, the great American dream, the great Australian dream of have a house, get rich, have a company. You can do all these things, and you can have as much money as Trump and any of the others of them. It's people aspiring for some crazy reason think that it's something that can happen.
It could happen to me, but in reality, no. You got more chance of winning Oz Lotto. Actually, way more chance. But I like how George goes on to say that there are learnings from nature as well as a blueprint. And so in a natural ecosystem, inequality doesn't exist within species because there's no such thing as money or profit. In nature, the resources are shared and therefore impossible to accumulate under a single individual. But yet humans have created societies of individualists where unlimited personal wealth can be accumulated, secured and protected by law. So the only way really, Cass, to end inequality is to demolish the structures and institutions that encourage and protect accumulation of wealth.
As we know, is...
And ownership itself, really.
A huge and almost impossible
Well, it ain't going
thing
to happen.
to bring about.
It ain't going to happen. That's one of the reasons why we're off the cliff and there is only one direction we're going. We need to mimic nature, George goes, in the way that it eliminates parasitic individuals within a species, but I don't think we will. Yeah. Because they do a great job of dividing us. That's the thing, there are lots of ways to abolish the rich, but first we have to come together as a group, which is like 99% of us, to agree that we are a group and that we can do something about the billionaires, but we're all so divided. I mean, look at the march we had on the weekend, the Nazi march. All these people say, "Oh, they're good people at the marches. They were good people." What are you marching for, mate? Immigrants. Like, how are they fucking your life up, man? Immigrants. The billionaires are doing way worse because they divide us. That's the whole point. Yeah, George is spot on. Oh, I'm getting a wind up for another song.
A song nod.
Yes.
Looking for Sarah Blasco.
Oh, Sarah Blasco.
Yep. And
All right.
the song is called The Way.
Yes, The Way.
It's from the album I Just Need to Conquer This Mountain.
Okay.
And it was released in the year that Sarah describes as the year that a lot of really huge things happened to me. The end of a lifelong friendship. I had a baby and the world was ending.
The world is ending, Sarah. Spot on there, baby. All right. So here we go, Doomsters. Sarah Blasco, The Way.
Met you in church when God was on my side. You said goodbye when it all went to hell. Met you when I was young, left me alone when I grew wise. So these days I just cry and yell. Get me to church, I've got God on my mind. I get down on my knees if I must. Get me to church, take me back to the time of the wedding, the funeral pyre. Show me the way, the truth of my life. I don't know where I went wrong. I can't understand. The touch of your hand is deep and it lingers on, but I wanna be free. Met you at a time when we didn't know much. We probably knew less than most. We were sheltered back then. We were quite untouched, except for the hand of the Holy Ghost. Get me to church, I've got God on my mind. I'll get down on my knees, talking tongues. Get me to church, take me back to the time I saw the Spirit descend like a dove, and show me the way, the truth of my life. I don't know where I went wrong, but I can't understand. The touch of your hand is deep and it lingers on. Now I wanna be free. What you saw in me. Get me to church, I want God on my side. It was simple when we were young. Get me to church so they can cast this out. I wanna be free of what you denounced.
Ah, lovely Sarah. She's one of my favourites. You like her too, I think, Cass, don't
I
you?
do. She's beautiful. Beautiful voice.
Well, Doomsters is coming up to that time of the evening here. I'm just going to finish off with I'm just going to read George's last paragraph on his blog about eating the rich. He says, there are many ways to abolish the rich, And we have the power to do so if only we weren't all so divided while we trample over each other as we try to get rich ourselves. Both the planet and human society can be saved if there were limits to growth and to wealth accumulation. We need to get to a place where this civilization limits itself, where business expansion beyond a certain level becomes a loss-making enterprise for the businessman. As long as understanding the necessity of economic, ecological and population limits is a taboo conversation, as we know it is, Cass, humans are destined to become roadkill to their own profit locomotive. And as long as we allow an extreme minority of wealthy parasites to set the course for what happens to this species and this planet, we only have ourselves to blame for not even trying to overthrow and abolish them for good. And I haven't even gotten onto the Independence article about the doomsday bunkers that the billionaires are building. We might do that next week, people. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We certainly had some terrific music brought in by Kirste, who is now laying down on the floor there, refusing to say anything. And as I like to always finish the night with, I always like to say, collapse is inevitable, Doomsters, but justice is not. And so we can always try and live the good life, live the right life. But up until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me. And we're going to go out with Manyang, who's an Aboriginal artist, comes from up near around the Northern Rivers. I think one of his parents, maybe from Yamba, maybe from around Grafton, and he's an artist with a clear mission in mind, and that is to spread values of respect and care for ourselves, our communities and Mother Earth.
And that is always a good thing. That's what we're talking about tonight. Oh, thank you, Kirste. She's raised her hand and pointing where the song is. Yes, that is the song. All right. We will see you next week, Doomsters. Remember, take care of yourselves. Foster those relationships, those community relationships, because that's where it's all happening. And we will see you next week. Oh, and if you want to listen to past episodes, you can go to my YouTube channel. I think if you just type in Music for the End of the World, maybe that might get you there. And where you can listen to, and I put each episode up a few days after we do it, usually Friday or Saturday. And I've got a whole bunch of old ones there. Anyway, take care of each other, and we will see you. And we will see you next week. And the song, thank you, Kirste. Don't run away from hurt. That's right. Good night, Doomsters.
now.